So if you're thinking about moving to Kelowna from Saskatchewan, but you don't know where to start or what to expect, well, this video is for you. Looking at it from one Saskatchewan Rough Rider fan to another, the reason why a lot of people are moving here to Kelowna is because of the weather, and that's historically why a lot of people, retirees, do choose Kelowna continuously and have for a number of years. If you are thinking about moving to Kelowna from Saskatchewan, pick up the phone, give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. I've done it, I've been through it, so I can let you know what to do and what not to do. Even if you're just visiting for a little bit, I'd love to tour you around and just show you the different neighborhoods. Maybe we can grab some wine. So if you are moving to Kelowna from Saskatchewan, I love to hear from you. Give me a call, blow on my phone, call the rider office and get your season tickets, pass on to your grandkids, because it is a great time to come out here. So the weather is number one, and I won't get into a great deal. You're not going to get the minus 40. I did do another video on weather, so go take a look at that other video I did on specifically the weather and what to expect in all 4 seasons. But in this video, the weather is really, it doesn't get down to your minus 40. It's about minus 6 in December. You get less sunlight, so that's a negative, because in Saskatchewan you get a lot more sunlight. You have the flatlands. In Kelowna, the sun doesn't sometimes when it's setting, depending on where you're situated, sun will set behind the mountain and it does get quite dark early. And also in the winter, it is gray. The clouds sometimes will just hang over the areas, and which will be a lot different than what you see in Saskatchewan, because you get a lot more sunlight. However, the weather with that gray, the weather is usually a little bit warmer. It's about minus 6 the coldest time. That's the average coldest part in of low. That's the low. Right now it's December 16th and it's plus 2 degrees. We got a snowfall yesterday, and but it's all melting today. Thing to note, if you are looking to move here, I already mentioned it, but it depends on where you live, and there is a lot of inclines here. That was the main thing when moving from Regina to Kelowna, a lot of inclines. So everything you're gonna have to know, lake views is kind of the main thing, but if you're either on the upside of the mountain or you're on the downside normally, if you're on a hill. And so the downside, the ones that are on the down part of the mountain, they often have the walkout ranchers, the walkout areas, so you can walk out and you enter on the main level, and then your basement is down below, but you also can have a nice little walkout on it, and so you don't really need to build up. And there's some properties, if you're on the upper side of the street or on the mountain, those properties are normally a walk up, because they build their homes to try and maximize the views and what they can get. So on those homes that are on the walk ups, the one thing to note is on the main floor, it's normally you're going to be a den, maybe a family room, and you're not going to have your main living area where you're going to have your kitchen and master bathroom and bedroom. Sorry, now it is called just main bedroom, main bathroom, and you're also going to have the main living room where you are entertaining, and that's going to be on the upstairs. So you might have to go up 8 to 10 stairs, 14 stairs if it's normal height house, and with 8-foot ceilings. So that is just one thing that is a lot different here. Normally in Regina, you have your main living area on the one floor and then bedrooms up. So that is one thing to keep in mind. And it's not to say that you can't get the same style of house. You just got to look in different areas, and there's less of them out there. And as Kelowna, you'll notice that it is a sprawl city. So Kelowna has historically been kind of building out, and the lake is really hampering, really being able to, kind of combine West Kelowna in, and so Kelowna has historically, and they're different cities. So that's one thing to note, that even though Kelowna and West Kelowna are side by side, and just the lake and they share the bridge, they are different cities. So West Kelowna is actually a relatively new city. It was only incorporated into a city in 2015. With that, the cities make their own decisions. The Lake Country is its own city, and Peachland is also its own city. So they all have their own make their own decisions, and so some of them don't match with what the other cities are doing, and sometimes they do. And obviously they work together, but in West Kelowna, there's also the First Nations land. So that is another topic for another day, but reach out if you do have questions on that. I'd be happy to answer any questions on First Nations land in West Kelowna. It's not as scary as you think, just fair warning. So anyways, looking at it, when you are with Kelowna, the difference between what you're going to find in Kelowna and in Saskatchewan is that sprawl, and the sprawl is really spread out. So it's, even though you're going in Saskatchewan, if you're going 30 kilometers, say I'm going to go from Regina to Moose Jaw, 45 kilometers, I think it's 50 kilometers, it's going to take me 40 minutes, just easy. If you're going 40 kilometers, it's probably going to take you an hour. If you're trying to go through West Kelowna to Kelowna, it takes you a lot longer. It seems like you're going a short distance. It'll probably take you a lot longer. It'll probably take you over an hour just to do that. Depending on the time of day, it is so many stoplights. The main highway here is Highway 97, Harvey Avenue. Those are the two different names for the same street. So don't let that throw you off. And there's lots of lights, so it's kind of a stop and go. It's like hitting the ring road in Regina when the train's going by at rush hour, right? So they're working on traffic patterns and getting it better, but it is something to allocate a lot more time to. You think you're just going that far? It's not very far. Like, it's only 10 kilometers. Well, that'll probably take you half an hour, depending on the time of day. So just watch out for that. And the streets, they're not east-west. It's tough because they're built around a mountain. So if you start going the wrong way and you missed a turn, you can't always just take the next turn. In Saskatchewan, you can usually just take the next turn and you'll find it because there'll be another couple cross streets, but that doesn't happen here in Kelowna. It's you're better off just to stop and go around. I've burnt so much time and gas trying to find that way. And maybe there is a way, but it's taking a long way. You probably have to go around the whole mountain to get back to it. So usually it's just a little bit easier just to do a U-turn and get back to it. So just to be aware of West Kelowna. So explaining the different cities. So Kelowna is the most densely populated area. It has 140,000 people. In general, the whole central Okanagan, so Peachland all the way to Lake Country, has 200,000 people. In Kelowna itself, the city has 140,000 people, so it is the most densely populated area, and that is, Kelowna provides a lot of the jobs in the city. So a lot of people do commute from all those different cities as well to Kelowna for their jobs. They have a lot of government industries here. Kelowna General Hospital is a main employer. Then you also have a lot of Government of Canada employees that do work here. And when you're also looking at it with Kelowna, tech has really become things that is really growing Kelowna. There's not really any one industry that really drives Kelowna's economy. You have a lot of small businesses, operators, and people working from home, growing their own businesses, whether on the tech side of things. So you do get a lot of that in Kelowna, and which really sometimes can help out a little bit with not having, in oil, gas, if one industry goes down, it really takes down the whole city and puts the whole city in a rut. That's the reason why we made a move out here. We just felt that, it was less volatile to all the changes. Obviously, there's still some volatility there, but it just seemed like the entire economy was just a little bit less volatile based on not being industry driven with one industry. So something to keep in mind when you are looking, if you are looking at jobs and where to look for. If you are in the working, so keep in mind, you probably want to be close to Kelowna. West Kelowna is not too bad. I'll touch on the bridge here. So if you ask anybody about commuting to Kelowna from West Kelowna, they're gonna tell you, don't do it. No, the bridge is awful. So I'm here to bust this myth. It's okay. Sometimes it's bad, but if there's an accident or a snowfall during the summer, it can get busy with tourists. But generally speaking, depending on the time of day, if you have a little bit of flexibility, you'll probably be okay with it. I don't really know. It's really a myth that it'll take you about half an hour from where I live in West Kelowna to get all the way to downtown near rush hour. That might not seem like a lot, or that might seem like a great deal. It's it's hit and miss. It's a lot of stopping and starting, and a lot of people say don't do that. But if you live in a house in Kettle Valley, your commute time is probably about the same, if not more, to get to the same spot if I'm leaving from Glen Rosa, which is the furthest west part, and heading east towards Kelowna. During rush hour, it's probably about 30 to 45 minutes from the furthest end of West Kelowna to downtown, and that's the same as Kettle Valley. So it depends on where you live. If you want to be close, don't knock the bridge. You can move closer to the bridge. There's a couple of places, Rose Valley, Lakeview Heights. Those are all close places to the bridge that you can get away with and not taking half an hour like it takes me. I'm lucky I don't have to commute every day to downtown, and that's why I chose West Kelowna, and that's why I like West Kelowna. But you can live in Lakeview Heights or Rose Valley, and it'll probably take you 15 minutes, 10 minutes, so it's pretty easy going. You just hit the highway and then you'll hit it. So that is my rant on the bridge. So you have Kelowna is the main city, West Kelowna, which is the second biggest city, but it's about 30 to 40,000 people now. Then you have Peachland, which is just a beautiful place. It has the higher elevations in Peachland and a little bit older homes. It's a smaller community feel in Peachland. Or you can north on your way to Vernon, and Lake Country is there. Lake Country is one of the fastest growing communities here in the central Okanagan. It's beautiful out there. You have a $20 million home actually just sold there this past week. Kelowna, a lot of people do commute. They can go to Vancouver. So if you did want to go to a hockey game, if hockey is kind of your thing, you can go to a Canucks game. If WHL isn't good enough, it's about 3.5 hour drive to Vancouver. Normally don't recommend it during the winter. With the Coca-Cola, it can be really dicey to get to Kelowna to Vancouver based on the roads. But usually consider, from Thanksgiving to all the way to just about Easter is usually that window where you probably shouldn't expect to drive on the Coca-Cola. Obviously, different changes can happen, but and it's just really based on the snowfall that it'll get and how icy it gets. So if you are looking to do it, but Kelowna is really close to Big White. There's so much to do here. So it's 30 minutes to Big White. You're close to wineries. You go wine tasting. You can go take out the orchards in the summer. You can go pick, whatever fruit you want, some Okanagan cherries or some peaches. Really, you can go to U-Picks. You can go to the wineries in West Kelowna. There's about 15. If you can go down the wine trail down Boucherie Road, and there's your amount of options that you have is insane for that. Other things that really is drawing to me and my family here is the hiking. So you do get to explore the wilderness. We're living in Smith Creek Ranch, which is a great little community, and it just has some hiking trails right in behind here. And this is, I love taking the kids out in there, getting a little piece of the wilderness. It does come with a little bit of the animals, so you do get a little bit of bear action, so you better make sure with your garbage, but it is definitely worth that risk because you do have all the trails right behind you. You can go hiking, you can go climbing, you go dirt biking, quadding, mountain biking, really whatever you want to do, just right in our own backyard, literally. So it is pretty great. As well as you can go on the lake. That's the main thing that tourists do. You've probably done it. And when you think about Kelowna, you probably think about the lake and the beach and the boating and that lifestyle. That's really why a lot of people do come out here, and especially in the summer. So those are all great options, what we see and what we do. And overall in Kelowna, it's compared to Saskatchewan, it's small. It's 200,000 people. So it's small. It still has that small hometown feel. You got a lot of Rider fans here, and that small hometown feel, I mean, things, generally, everybody kind of knows. If you're here long enough, everybody kind of knows somebody that knows somebody. 6 degrees of separation type of thing. But it's maybe a 2 or 3 once you're here long enough where things start to fall into place here. So you can find your niche. it's sometimes can be tough to get new friends depending if you're single or if you're married or what you like to do. Sometimes you do have to get involved in the community and to be able to meet those friends because it is small, so you kind of get your people mending together and being able to open up to you. Maybe might be a little bit tougher depending on your situation. So I recommend just getting out. Everybody seems to be nice since we've moved here for the most part. Obviously you get some grumpy ones, but generally speaking, as long as the sun's shining, everybody's happy. So if you are thinking about moving to Kelowna from Saskatchewan, pick up the phone, give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. I've done it. I've been through it, so I can let you know what to do and what not to do. And in this process, I'm going to help you, and I love to tour you around. Even if you're just visiting for a little bit, I love to tour you around and just show you the different neighborhoods, show you what it has to offer, and hey, maybe we can grab some wine.